Well, good morning and welcome everybody to episode 236 of Altadena Talks. Today is Wednesday and it is Wellness Wednesday. I'm one of the hosts, Jamal Smith, and we have my other co-host is going to kind of kick us off with this topic. You're muted, Tony.
Thanks, Jamal.
Mhm.
I said, good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wellness Wednesday. It's Jamal and I this morning. Brian is off site on a different assignment today. And we always say Wellness Wednesday. And we always have some topic, or we've talked about, last week, the holidays, and with this being the first one since the fire. So, what I wanted to do is really talk about what wellness is. So, what is wellness? We've heard it, it's a new, phrase or whatever over the last, I don't know, decade maybe, or 5 or 6 years or something. We hear about wellness, but really, what is it? Just like we've always heard about self care, but I think self care is encompassed or comes under wellness now. So I just started doing some digging and some research on my own so that we can really understand what wellness looks like, what it is, and how we move forward with wellness, right? So I literally just went and I asked AI, I was like, what is wellness? And one of the answers that I got, or the answer is wellness is an active, holistic process of making decisions for a healthier, more fulfilling life, going beyond just physical health, but it also includes mental, emotional, social, spiritual, and other dimensions like career and environment. Focusing on reaching your full potential through continuous self care and purposeful living. So, obviously, like I said, wellness, self care comes under that. We've heard the hi, Marcus, and welcome. Happy Hump Day, Wellness Wednesday. But really, when you look at wellness, and I mentioned self care comes under that, and we hear every few years some new term, right? Oh, what about this? What about that? Where we started talking about self care several years ago, and then now we're on to wellness. So that's why I wanted to really delve into what is wellness? What is it? What do they mean by wellness when we say it versus us just saying Wellness Wednesday, right? Yes, we can talk about having self care, or during this season when we just had Thanksgiving and we're coming up on a couple of weeks on Christmas, and this is almost the first year anniversary of the fires. What is wellness truly, and what does it look like? So it's about integrating your mind, body, and spirit and making intentional choices for overall well-being, which will lead to better contentment and your purpose, learning maybe what your purpose is and making sure you're walking and resting in your purpose and have contentment in that. That is all encompassed in wellness. So we believe in it, obviously, and we've been saying Wellness Wednesday for a minute, but just wanted to really give a good definition of what wellness is, or what is out there that is considered wellness or self-care. I'm gonna take my glasses off for right now because there's too much glare for me. Even adjusting my screen, I'm like, ah. So what I found that was interesting as part of my research is there are different dimensions, right, of wellness, and just key dimensions and key aspects of wellness. So key dimensions are your physical. So if you want to have physical wellness, you've got to eat right, have better nutrition, exercise, even if it's a 15-20 minute walk per day, sleep, get the right amount of rest and sleep that you need, because the way our bodies are designed is we regenerate when we get rest. We get restored when we get rest. We heal when we get rest, right? So, all in that, if you're sick, a lot of times as kids, our parents would say, oh, you have to go to bed, you have to rest, right? And we've noticed even as adults, we still need to get the proper amount of rest. If you've had a surgery ever, they tell you rest. Even if you're in the hospital outpatient that same day or you get out the next day, what really helps us heal is resting. So it's super important to get the rest we need. I'm a big napper. Jamal, are you?
No, I wish. No, I'm not, unfortunately. But I think that sleeping is definitely the most underrated and most overlooked method of healing and
Yeah.
physical wellness.
Yeah, definitely. I love naps. I'll sometimes take, where people will be like, oh, I'll take my lunch hour. When I was working in an office, there would be times I would go to my car, put my seat back, set my alarm on my phone, and take a
Hmm.
45-minute nap. I am a napper. All of my children are nappers. We will take a nap in a heartbeat. And, we've heard, I don't know, a decade or two ago, people taking power naps. I remember then when power naps were a big thing. I wouldn't even call it a power nap. I just need a nap. And I
Right.
always talk about a good nap is always on Sunday after church. Like when you get home, I'll come in here and I'll start cooking. And if I'm putting something in the oven that I know is going to be in the oven for an hour, I'll sit on the couch and watch some football. But I also will set either a timer on the oven or on my phone, because I know if I'm watching TV like that after church on a Sunday, I'm going to have a Sunday nap, and the food might burn, or the TV is going to be watching me. And so for me, like, I will make sure that I set my alarm on my phone, because I'm a napper and I will take a nap. But yes, those are parts of the physical part, dimension of wellness. And then when we look at the emotional part of wellness, we have to recognize, understand, and manage our feelings, right? Um, Especially in this season. It's always a tough time for people around the holidays, because loved ones who are no longer around to celebrate, Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever. And then coupled with, for Altadenians, the Pasadena people that, well, I'll put it like this: the Eaton Fire and the Palisades people that have survived these fires and are displaced, may not know if they're going to come back, um, may not know what it looks like for their rebuild. That on top of the, what? Oh, that on top of, um, losing everything and it coming up on the 1 year anniversary.
Yep.
You have to look at your own emotions. We hear a big term now about emotional intelligence, right? And they want to teach children how to be more emotional intelligent, but it has to do with managing your feelings. It has to do with understanding and recognizing your feelings. And if you can learn the different aspects of managing your emotions and your feelings, then you are definitely on a road to better emotional wellness and health, right? And if
Yeah,
not,
that's
guess what?
definitely the case.
Yeah, it used to be, remember, Jamal, that they would say, especially, I will say this, in Black and Brown communities, oh, we don't do therapy, right? And a lot of people that grew up in the church, oh, just pray. Well,
Hmm.
I go to church, I pray, but I also have no problem going to therapy or calling my therapist like, hey, da da da, I'm dealing with this. I don't know how to quite manage it or whatever. There are people that go to college, get PhDs so they can become therapists,
Hmm.
and bless them, because I couldn't do it. That's a lot of extra weight that, you carry, yours plus all the people that you manage or whatever. But one thing that I've learned about therapy is therapists are paid very well to listen to us solve our own problems.
Hmm. Well, I think the beauty of that, though, and I mean that's a very good point and very valid point. But
Yeah,
but when you go to therapy, it causes you to address the issue, and
it
I think
does.
that's one of the biggest reasons why that mental health concept over the past couple, decade or so is so important. Because as you mentioned earlier, the wellness concept is your mind, body, and soul. Most people
That's right.
focus on the body, and it's become so much more um, mainstream now to admit, hey, look, I got issues. We all got issues that we need to deal with, and mental issues. And it's very important to keep track of that. So I think part of the reason why we used to think that black and brown folks don't do it or don't go to therapy, or it's a certain group's thing to do, not ours,
Right.
or go to church only and just pray, is that we're a little ignorant to it. And I mean ignorant in
Right.
the pure definition of meaning you don't know, right?
Correct.
So when people figured out that, hey, look, this is just a way to kind of work through some issues that we had been taught culturally to kind of ignore,
Yep.
especially the men,
Yeah.
to a certain degree, or to dampen them down.
Yes.
Now it's like, look, I can talk about the fact that this bothered me as a grown man. I can go to a therapist, and if I need to, I can cry, and it's okay.
It's
That doesn't
perfectly
take
okay.
away any masculinity or any of my ability to help my family and my community and my, what have you. So I'm glad that you're talking about this, and I think that's the main thing that's happened recently is people are now aware, not scared to learn about what things are about, and
Hmm.
they're okay with getting the help because it's not as
Yes.
painful as I think people thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so important because there's too many times, like I said, culturally and with our genders, right? That men in those specific Black and brown communities, I can't speak for white communities, I can't speak for Asian communities, but other, minorities also might deal with this, that they're told, like, as a man you don't cry, as a man you don't show your emotions. But then here's all this bottled up stuff, right?
Oh
Because
yeah,
all of us
yeah.
have stuff that then you don't know how to manage or don't know how to deal with. And then that's when the young people now call it crashing out, right? We would say you go off on somebody, you snap, whatever. And if you don't deal with your mental health and make sure that your mental health is as good as your physical health and your emotional health, like, we see those consequences, right? Mass shootings, all kinds of stuff. So,
It
yeah,
also manifests into physical illness, physical
yes,
disease, the cancers, the ulcers, the stress with the heart problems, that kind of thing, because you're even though it doesn't seem like it and most people think they're okay, there's a tension, an underlying tension that happens when you do not let go of things.
oh, totally. It's like, well,
Yeah.
not like, it just festers inside, and you now build prison walls around yourself,
Hmm.
right? That takes a
Hmm.
lot more to get out of. But then even the emotional, like I said, goes right into the mental or the intellectual, which really crosses over with
Can be.
learning, creativity, problem solving, and engaging with the world. When we look at and we see people that go and do things, and people will say, oh, they wanted 15 minutes of fame or whatever, they may suicide, but they've taken other people with them. It's usually that they've snapped because they're not engaged with the world, right? They don't necessarily know how to problem solve,
Mhm.
or they've been isolated and they're not socially connecting with others and your community, right? We always hear about it takes a village to raise a child in our culture, right? I
Mhm.
think it's for everyone. It takes a village to have a community and be able to know that when you might be off balance or imbalanced on any area of your life, well, who is my community, right? It doesn't mean you go and you talk to everybody and the mom about everything, but if you have two or three friends, right, really friends, right, that you can go and talk to and vent, and then that friend has to know sometimes I don't have to have a solution for you. I just need to listen. I need to be present, right?
That's key. That is so key. I am the worst culprit for immediately trying to solve somebody's issues. Me and B had it. I had it, and I had an issue. Well, he had an issue with me recently because he was sharing some things, and I was trying to solution the
Yep.
situation. And he's like, Jay, can you just listen this time? I mean, sometimes I just need you to listen. I'm like, you know what? Absolutely correct. My bad. And it worked out and it was cool. And I try to catch myself because I find that happening, and I'm sure other people do. Just try to help. That's my thing. I'm always trying to
Yeah.
help, but helping in those situations is not saying anything, and I got to
Help.
recognize that more often. And that's the truth.
Yeah. Being a helper or a solutioner is not the kind of person you want as your therapist. I am a helper. I'm a solutioner like you, right? So I can listen to you, but my brain at the same time is just like, oh my God, well, what about this? And what about this? And what about this? And what about this? And learning to be a listener and just be present can be a challenge for a helper and a solutioner. But sometimes, yes, it's just like, and sometimes I talk to Brian, he'll tell me some things and I just have to shut up and listen. And then I go, okay. Where other times I've been like, well, why are you doing this? And why are you doing this? And you're giving yourself your own answers. And that's a red flag, dude. Like, why are you going to move forward in that area? Or why are you going to do
Hmm.
this? Because for me, I talk to myself that way. And it's funny because, people say if you talk to yourself, you're crazy. I'm not crazy. I have a lot of clarity. I pray out loud, but I will go work in my garden. I will be in the backyard or whatever. And I have conversations really more with God than myself. But I've learned through my many years of therapy and many years where I've paid for it with my own cash, not just like through my insurance, but things that I've gone to, that therapists will listen. They're very, very good at listening because that's their role, but they've been clinically trained or whatever, right? Psychiatrists, psychologists. But they're going to circle back what you just said and ask you a question about what you just said.
Yeah.
And you become your own solutioner because of the way they ask that question. So now I'll write stuff down or I'll ask myself, okay, so you're dealing with this, but why are you doing this? That? And I have learned how to now. I'm not a therapist, y'all. And trust me, I'm not clinical enough to be like, I don't need therapy. But I literally sometimes will go back to my notes from my therapist. And my therapist that I've had over the last year, whatever, is a brother. He is super cool. And I'll call him like, hey, CJ, or da-da-da-da-da. And we'll talk through something real quick. And he'll be like, I had to charge your tail because we just did a therapy session. And I'm like, no, because you're my homie, because we were friends first. And then this dude has like 11 degrees, 2 or 3 PhDs and stuff. And so he became my therapist because this is what he does. But he therapizes, and that is a word I made up, therapizes. He therapizes celebrities, athletes, all this kind of stuff, right? So he told me, he said, look, God told me when you leave my house today, you're supposed to go home. On your way home, he's going to give you a number. Whatever that number is, that's how much I'm going to charge you. When I tell y'all I was so blessed for the pennies on the dollar that he charges these celebrities and stuff for him as my therapist, I called him Saturday like, hey, what you doing? I'm just doing a check-in. I haven't talked to you in a few months because we'll do that every now and then. Mm-hmm. And I said something to him and he gave me something immediately off of it. And because I was talking about Lot and his wife in the Bible and how, God told them to give everything and they didn't. They kept some of it for themselves. So when they went to God, they lied in his face, right? And he asked them, because when you get freed from something or delivered, you're supposed to move forward and not turn backwards and not look back. Well, Lot and his wife looked back and they immediately turned into a pillar of salt. So I told him that. I was like, yeah, and da-da-da-da-da. And we were just talking about some stuff. He said, yeah, but I got one for you. I was like, what? He said, what is a pillar of salt? I go, what do you mean? He said, it's salty, it's bitter, it's this, that. So many times in our lives, when we move forward and get out of a situation and then go backwards, we wind up being salty or having bitterness because we didn't fully release it. We didn't fully forgive. And there's still some stuff, right? Just like you just said, Jamal, it festers, it turns into something inside that can in turn make your physical body bad. You can have strokes, you can have headaches, you can have ulcers, you can have all kinds of things because we are not moving on mentally, emotionally or socially, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was like, dude, oh my God. All the time I've known that about turning into a pillar of salt, did I ever equate, oh, that's where the saltiness or the bitter, I was like, what? It just that quick. And then he was like, I'd be charging you for this call. I was like, no, you ain't charging nobody because I called to do a check-in and see how you doing. And we just talked about that. But
you got away with one.
Yeah, that's my relationship with my therapist, which is my boy. But when I do therapy, I shut off that we're friends. Yeah. And it's, hey, doc, this is what I really need to talk to you about. He'd be like, run me my money. I pay him. We do my whole hour session or whatever, right? But right. But that's what I've learned, and that's why I said to him one day, I was like, dude, you get paid major bucks for me to answer my own stuff. And he said, I get paid major bucks to listen to you and your crap and walk you through it, right? So you can fully, like you said, bring it up, talk about everything that we don't try to talk about, walk through it, and then get beyond it. And in that, yes, he may ask questions, he or she, whoever your therapist is, ask you questions to help you get and walk yourself through it and get the solutions for you.
Right. No, that's so true. I'm just going to pop up a couple comments. The Classic Ash said naps are not bad. That is absolutely true. Marcus says, so true. We all have issues. It's how we deal with them that makes the difference in healing. And that goes to what Tony just finished saying and what we've been talking about all day. And hopefully, you know, we learn as we walk through this thing called life, and we get better with dealing with things. And hopefully, if we, especially as where we are, and if we learn how to do this, hopefully we can influence the folks around us and encourage them to start doing it on their own, and maybe even the younger folks, so that they can get to this point sooner than later, so that there is not a whole lot of craziness going on in their body that may manifest in some disease, or that they might snap or what have you. Because a lot of the kids, especially, we all had to deal with, like, let's say, adolescence and cliques and weird stuff that happened in high school. But if you add on the fact today that they got that social media aspect as well, I can't even imagine the challenges that the kids are going through. So to empower them with the ability to speak through and work through any issues that kind of come up, because some of them you're going to go through anyway, there's no way to avoid it. But like Marcus said, it's how you deal with them that helps. Hopefully we can help even the young folks start dealing with it better sooner, so that they don't have to encounter some of those crazy problems in the future.
And even with that, it's like, when we were young and we had our parents, we were all in the same house, right? We still have our parents, everybody's living there. We didn't want to hear nothing our parents had to say. And so
it's the same way.
Right. Like, oh, I'm a teenager. Girl, teens is probably the worst ages, because you think you know it all. You don't want to hear nothing they have to say. But so like you said, coupled with social media and it's just crazy. But yes, if we can have a close enough relationship with our children, our teens, our young adults, or whatever, and even I see a lot of parents now that when they have young kids, they start with this emotional intelligence, right? And teachers are like, no, you're not going to throw a tantrum, this, that. We need to talk out what you're feeling, what's happening inside of you. And I've seen online, like, these clips of these teachers that are powerful with it. And they get these kids that were fighting to sit down and say, you made me feel like this. This is how I feel inside. And then at the end, apologize, like they're doing therapy in kindergarten and in second grade. And it is fabulous.
Teachers are therapists, believe it or not. Well, especially those that care. Yeah. Because there are some out there that don't give a crap. So that scenario you were talking about, unfortunately, I believe it is not the norm. It's the exception. And it would be amazing if that could start becoming the norm, so that, the kids, even outside of the home, because, where do they spend the vast majority of their time during the week? It's at school with other adults kind of supervising them. So as a teacher, if more and more teachers kind of had that approach, it would just empower the young folks to turn into adults who are a lot more adjusted to living in the tough world called life. Because our oldest daughter here in the house, she had, and one of her friends has even said that, I kind of wish I could go back to when I didn't have the responsibilities, because she's like 22, 23. It's like adulting is tough.
Adulting sucks. That's what they say.
And it's one of those things we tried to explain to them. I try to tell my kids, slow down. Do not rush to wear makeup and do all these quote unquote things that
to be out the house.
Do, because what happens is, once you get there, you can't go back to being a kid. Enjoy it now, right? So anyway, that's a very good point.
We got in our 80s and 90s and stuff, and our kids start taking care of us. They're the parent and we're the kid. But so even beyond that, then, okay, so I just want to go back to some of these key dimensions of wellness. We hit physical, emotional, mental, intellectual, social. There are 4 more. Then I'm going to go to the key aspects, and then what wellness versus health is. So the next one would be spiritual, which we've kind of already talked about, which is finding meaning or your purpose and connection, right?
It's kind of perfect for Marcus's comment here. He's learned the importance of guarding his peace.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
And that kind of is along the lines of what you just mentioned.
Yeah, you have to guard your heart. And the Bible, literally, y'all know I'm going to quote the Bible in a heartbeat, but guarding your heart, because the issues of life flow from it, right? And so
Yes.
sometimes we allow too many people in our space, and then our
Yeah.
heart, our mind, all of that gets messed up because energy from other people, negativity, all kinds of stuff. So in that spiritual aspect, yeah, do you know what your purpose is? And I'm gonna tell you guys, I've said it before. I think November last year, I said to God, Lord, you know what? What am I supposed to be doing with my life right now? Because I don't know. And I called a girlfriend to say, hey, let's go to lunch. And she was like, oh, let me check my calendar. And I'm saying to myself, your calendar? And she couldn't do it. She was like, we'll have to do a rain check because my calendar is booked this week. Da, da, da. And I said, God, I don't even have no calendar. And even like my kids, my daughter Hannah is super busy. And she'll tell me, I'll call her and say, hey, do you want to do this now? She said, hold on, let me look. Oh, no, I have plans here. Da, da, da. And I'm like, and I literally was like, God, how come I don't have no calendar? Y'all, today.
You got a calendar now.
Yeah, don't tell God what you don't have because he's going to be like, oh, you want something? Okay, here, I got you. And I did not know what I was supposed to be doing. Now, not only am I feel like he literally, when the fires happened, he threw me like, here you go, girl. Here, you want some purpose? Let me help you out. Here's some purpose right now. So
she did.
That's part of, you got to find your meaning, your purpose, your connection, and where you're supposed to be, and just be content in walking in that, right? Because I didn't know I'd be doing this. And now I'm also
need to be tuned into it, though, because I think personally, and everybody has their own relationship with the God, their God, whatever they, whatever. But they need to be in tune to hear the message that's being told, because I think we're being told a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff is revealed to us that is helpful, but a lot of us are not in tune with recognizing that is, that's some guidance for us from a higher source, right? A lot of times, we're just not in tune. So hopefully people can take some time to tune in and tune their mental frequencies into, receiving some stuff, or at least recognizing messages.
Super important
when they come.
Yeah, super important. The next one is environmental. This is a part of wellness as well, which is appreciating nature and creating healthy surroundings. Now, y'all have seen when Jamal and Brian, more than Jamal, will tease me about grounding. And then y'all know I have this garden outside. Matter of fact, oh my gosh, I walked out yesterday. I haven't been doing a whole lot. My greens are growing. They always grow like crazy in the winter, but my green onions are all like 3 feet tall, bent over. I'm going to go out and cut some today because they're all over the place. My beets are growing great. This is the down season for basil, and basil kind of dies off in the winter. And then my mint, which I'm glad because I need to go cut and pull mint because mint grows like invasively, right?
So you got to contain
it. My kale is growing up nicely right now. And so, just a bunch of, like, oh, my garden's a mess. I need to go tend to it because I haven't in a few weeks. So I'm going to do that later on today. But I ground. I will walk out there sometimes just barefoot. And when you really touch the earth, because we come from the earth, right? We're taken from the earth. It's nothing better than getting back to earth. Now, I'm allergic to grass, so I can't go sit in the grass, but I can go walk outside in the dirt. I can walk across the grass real quick, walking in it real quick versus me sitting and having a minute for it to like affect me is two different things. But I can, and if I double up and put some blankets, several, where I'm not right next to the grass, then I can sit in it or sit in a chair and not have too many problems. But there's nothing like just putting your feet on the earth. I'll walk out to my mailbox on my driveway, whatever, barefoot. Like I said, I always in the backyard, and it's great. So, appreciating nature, looking outside. Like you guys know, I'm also a sun baby. Give me the sun in 80 plus degrees any day of the year versus anything under 70. I am bundled up. So that's nature. I love seeing the butterflies, and I have milkweed. So I get the monarch butterflies every year, and I need to plant some more, although it kind of does its own thing in volunteers, they call it, when it seeds off, and I get more milkweed in other parts of the yard. But I get 30, 40, 50 caterpillars that turn into monarchs every year, at least. That's awesome. It is the most amazing and beautiful thing. And I love sitting out there watching. I saw a caterpillar crawling on my deck and I picked it up and took it back over to the milkweed plant, right? Like, how'd you get over here? You ain't supposed to be over here. Go eat the milkweed so you could turn into a butterfly.
Way off track.
Right. Looking out at the mountains after a storm and seeing the snow-capped mountains, looking at the blue sky, the trees. We need the trees for oxygen. Like, there's nothing like nature.
Not at all.
And so getting that out in nature, creating healthy surroundings is the best thing, right? And that obviously is a part of our wellness. Career.
Well, if I can go back to the grounding aspect to it. I ground as well. In particular, each morning I go out with my dog when I let her out, and she runs around. I go out in my Crocs, but then I take them off, and I usually don't have socks on, and I just walk around the walkway. I'll go on the grass, stand there. If I go early enough, I sun gaze as well, because when you get it early enough, the rays of the sun don't hurt your eyes, and in fact, it's very therapeutic. And if you recall, and back to when you were a kid, or if you look at any kid, 9 times out of 10 they don't have shoes on. 9 times out of 10 they're running around when they're outside, enjoying the earth. One of the things it does is it gets rid of negative ions, I think is what it gets rid of, which is beautiful. But here's the other thing. I read a story or an article about autistic kids. One of the things they do, especially when they're in an environment or they get stressed, they go outside and they take their shoes off, and they're often, especially in areas or schools where there's a lot of concrete and very little actual grass or dirt. There have been studies where they'll go and find the smallest patches of actual grass, take their shoes off, have their feet there, and just doing whatever they do. But that's where they go all the time, because they're getting some help from the earth, right? And it's helpful overall for everybody. So we used to do it. We stopped doing it nowadays. We get we wear these really nice shoes. Don't get me wrong. They look good and they're comfortable, but you got to take some time to take them off, get out there, put your feet in the dirt, in the sand, even on concrete, on top of sand is perfectly fine. But try to do that a little bit more. You'd be surprised at how much better you feel. And the fact that you're outside and you can do all those other things that Tony was talking about, getting the sun, look at the flowers and the birds. See, I got a few hummingbirds in my area, and I love the hummingbirds. So I sit out there sometimes watching the game or doing whatever, and I just see stuff going on and just appreciate it. Also, we have periodically this hawk that'll come, and we'll have telephone poles along the perimeter of my the backyard, and every now and then we'll see one hop up there. And it has something in its talons, and it just goes to eating, and it's just like little stuff like that. My buddy Podge, he calls it the killing zone. He's like, you have any more killing zone activity? It's one of those things. So we have fun in doing it that way. So people, hopefully you can get back to that. It's very important. It's a good thing, and it's easy. It's free. Come on.
It is, exactly.
Walk outside.
You don't have to go to therapy for that. You can go and get therapized in your yard if you take your shoes off, go do some grounding, sit, meditate. Like I said, look at the sun. We need vitamin D. So many of us are in offices or work from home or whatever all the time. And then you go to the doctor because you're not feeling right. And they're like, you have a vitamin D deficiency. And it's normal in African-American people. And so you got to get outside, get that sun, get those rays in, and really, really, really just enjoy your environment and nature. And if you put it into a normal practice, you'll feel so much better, because when we connect our negative ions with the positive ions from the earth, the positive cancel out the negative. So go outside, go sit, go get some positive ions and some rays of sun and everything else. And the next one would be career. And it says finding satisfaction in work aligned with values. I think that statement is so important, because how many times do we, and you've done it, I've done it, everybody probably has done it. We get a job because we need a job, right? We got bills we got to pay because of money. We get a job because the money or the benefits. We get a job for the prestige of a title or whatever, but they don't align with our values. And we're not satisfied, and we're miserable going to get a paycheck. Been there, done it. I'll raise my hand a couple times.
Yep,
but when you start doing what you were meant to do, what Pastor John has this book called Your Purpose is the Solution. And literally, it's all about finding what your purpose is and what is the solution for that in the earth, right? Because you have something small that I need, right? And you might just be the solution to what it is that I need. But yeah, you want to speak on that as far, because I saw you doing like this, finding satisfaction in work aligned with values versus our money.
I mean, you said it pretty much all. There's a lot of people that get into careers based on our conversation now for all the wrong reasons, right?
Yeah.
They go into it because of the prestige associated with a position, because of how they feel people are going to think about them, versus, you know what, I'm bringing value to whatever the job happens to be, and I'm making it a better place because I'm doing it. A lot of times they get gigs because of the money only. And they don't necessarily, let's say a doctor, just as an example, you're there in reality to help people and heal people. Some doctors, and I'm not saying all of them, but hopefully that's a small percentage of doctors, really approach it more in a way where all they're really trying to do is make as much money as they can. And you pick any career, and that's what they do, because they're not really helping the client or the customer. And the benefits, I mean, you can't really, in some instances, I mean, you're stuck in a bad situation. And I say temporarily, sometimes you have to do things, right? But in the long run, hopefully you can recognize, hey, I'm doing this temporarily because it's a short-term need, but I'm, obviously there's a bigger purpose for me in the future, and I'm looking for that as well. But I mean, it's valid, everything that you're saying. That's why it's funny. I try to encourage my kids to do something that they enjoy.
They love.
That's why I try to get them to try everything. Join any and every club you think you might be interested in. Join one you might not even be interested in, because you might figure out something. Yeah. Sports too. Check out movies, read all kind of different books, because you might get exposed to something that you might really love. And ultimately, you might be able to turn that into a way that you can actually sustain yourself. And in, I forget the quote, but if you do something that you love, you don't work a day in your life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's true. And then, I've seen things on social media where people are like chefs or, whatever, and thriving and love it, but they grew up in a household because of their culture, like East, Indian or Asian or whatever, that they're pushed a lot, and their parents expected a lawyer, a doctor, whatever. And then when they had to go and tell their parent, I'm not going to school for that, I don't want to, or I've been in school X amount of years, I hate it, and I'm going to do this, and they change and do that, the parents are mad. But then once they've made themselves successful, the parents are back proud. So encourage people to do what they love, because then it won't be like they're working, and they will have the wellness that they so need. The last one of the key dimensions, and we'll get into the 4 key aspects, but the key dimensions of wellness is financial. And what this specifically says is managing finances to reduce stress. Again, coming from a career-based thing, right? We want certain stuff. And if you're making really good money, when you start making money, 7.5, 8 out of 10 people up their lifestyle, the way they live. They get a better car, they move and get a bigger and better house in a different neighborhood. They do this, they do that. And I'm guilty of it, right? Like all of us have been. But when I look at people that are like, no, I'm just trying to create legacy. Like some people in the South that are like, we just bought the land that our great-great-grandparents were slaves on, and we just built a community. So now it's me, my mom and dad, my sister, my brother, my cousin, my aunt, like 20 houses. When I see that, I'd be like, good grief, they got it going on good. Because then they all grow up together, all the family is there. When you need something, you're all there, and they have this legacy that will be forever there. And others that are like, okay, I'm now making X amount more, so this much, instead of living off all of it, half of it, I'm just socking away every paycheck. It's going into an account that I never touch. And I'm buying stock and I never touch. And so I think that if we look at our finances and start living truly within our means and not beyond. And when we get a promotion, act like we didn't get it and put that away, it will reduce a whole lot of stress. Because if you lose a job, then you're stressed out like, oh God, I got to stress and get another job. I got to do this or that. Versus I have this beautiful nest egg because every time I got a promotion, I put money away or I invested and bought a property or, something. I just heard Tiffany Haddish say recently, about a week or two ago, every time she has had a big movie, a big, comedy show or whatever, she takes all that money and she invests it and buys additional properties or
Nice.
Buildings or something. Yeah. So I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so amazing and smart.
So I agree with everything that you're saying, and in many cases, it requires a paradigm shift for a lot of people. And part of it is because of where is locale, right? So you grow up in California, there's not a lot of what happens in the South where, the land is available, it's affordable, you're close to the family like that. I mean, Altadena is is a microcosm of that in terms of the family being around. A lot of families have generations of people around or multiple family members living in the area, but the ability to just buy the land and in large clumps like that and to grow, it's a mental state, right? So going back to where we were talking about before, a lot of times people get jobs because of the prestige, or they get caught up because they can have the money and they can spend the money and keep quote unquote up with the Joneses, right? Well, if we can do that paradigm shift, what's happening in the South can very similarly happen here on a larger scale. Because I don't want to say it's not happening, because we already know that there are several families in Altadena that, for example, that actually had multiple properties from multiple generations, right?
Right.
But just imagine if everybody had that mentality, or a larger percentage of folks did, no matter where you live, no matter how much it costs, because then you pull your money together. Because we see other groups of people having multi-generations living in one home with the purpose of stacking chips so that maybe 10 years now or the next 2 generations don't have to do that. And they can expand and buy stuff. So maybe that's the approach we do, but that is a paradigm shift that needs to happen. And hopefully more and more people do that, because again, and I love throwing this word ignorance around because a lot of people take offense to it. And because I like to clearly define it, because a lot of times people don't do the stuff like the investments and what have you because they are ignorant in terms of how to do it, right? All that means is you don't know.
Well, the legal actual term ignorance is defined as a lack of knowledge. So if you're saying that was my ignorance or that's ignorant, it means lack of knowledge. People have used it in derogatory ways and people immediately get offended. No, ignorance is a lack of knowledge. And so, I looked it up. What Tiffany Haddish said was every time she gets paid from a movie, she does something like buys either real estate, a house or property, land. And when she had the movie Girls Trip earnings, she used that big check and literally paid off a house that needed to be paid off. And escaped the quote unquote broke PTSD, right? And then you have financial security and legacy and all of that. But you're right, it is a paradigm shift. It is, but I also say this, Jamal, you have to think about cultures and how they've made it into the U.S. For African Americans, we were brought here as slaves. We were held in slavery for decades. We then once slaves became free and they started moving, they scattered, right? Because they didn't want to just be where they were held. They moved a lot from Texas in the South here to California, to New York, to different places. They felt like, oh, I'm free. Well, a lot of the breakdown in family and generational processes left because of slavery. We weren't allowed to keep a lot of what we did. And so then it became the jealousy, oh, I'm better than you. I got to show you that I'm better. I got to drive this car, have this house in this neighborhood type thing. And we need to get back to who we are, right? And teaching our young people. Let me tell you, yes, social media can be bad and harmful for a lot of young people, but it can be very good because now a lot of the knowledge that is shared, these young people are doing it. They are
Yeah, there's a lot
investing.
of wealth made from it
That's
as well.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's twofold, and we know that it can be used for good, and obviously it can
Absolutely.
be used for bad or evil.
You got to build a
Um,
great foundation,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So yeah, paradigm shift, and hopefully people can get to the place where they are managing their finances enough to manage their stress level or mitigate that stress.
Hmm.
So those are the key dimensions of wellness. I'll just say the names of them again, and we've talked about each of them in depth. But physical, emotional, mental, intellectual. I'm sorry, social, spiritual, environmental, career, and finance. And then the aspects of wellness, the key aspects, there are four. One says it's active and deliberate, meaning it's not just a journey, not a destination, but requires ongoing choices. You have to be actively engaged and deliberate about having wellness in any of those key dimensions.
Yep. You got to be
Um,
conscious of it. You got to be
yeah,
doing it deliberately. Hmm.
deliberately and actively. Then holistically addresses all parts of you, that which is
Hmm.
what we've expounded on several times: mind, body, and spirit, right? We have to be proactive, which is simply involving taking steps to prevent illness and improve quality of life. So if that means you exercise because you're a high blood pressure, type person, or your cholesterol is high, what foods can you do? What diet changes can you make so that you can have better nutrition and that physical part, right? That's the proactive part and the holistic part. And then the contentment, which is that you will aim for satisfaction and purpose in life.
Can you repeat that again? I think that it kind of went out.
Yeah, contentment.
Oh, contentment. Okay, I
And
didn't hear
it
that word.
contentment is aiming for satisfaction and purpose in life. Because when you are walking in your purpose and you're satisfied and happy, you're not stressed because you're trying to, impress anybody or have this kind of money or this title, and you have that contentment, then yeah, you will be more satisfied. You will be more aligned with your purpose and your values.
And I think
Uh,
that there's a simple ease in that people ultimately come to understand, and
yeah,
it's what we've been talking about. They think happiness and contentment is one thing, and it's so much more complex in terms of keeping up with the Joneses and impressing people and whatever. That in and of itself is stressful. But when you get to the point where you realize that it's more of an internal thing and you being at
mhm,
peace with who you are and keeping the basics, kind of intact, then it's
yeah,
so much easier.
yeah, totally.
And I think that there's a piece that comes with that, and a lot of times people don't realize that until they're on in their years, and hopefully we can get more and more folks to realize that earlier on because they'll have more of an enjoyment
Makes
of
a
life, I
difference.
think. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last part of what wellness really is, right? We've gone over the key dimensions of wellness: physical, emotional, mental, intellectual, social, spiritual, environmental, career, and finance. And then the key aspects of it are active and deliberate, holistic, proactive, and contentment. And then, really, what is wellness versus health, right? Because a lot of times you hear the word wellness or self care, which comes under wellness, and you think automatically health. But health is a state of being. That is your physical, mental, and social well being. But wellness is the active pursuit of good health through intentional living. So that's how you know, like, in order for my health to be good and that state, my mental state, my physical state, my social well being, all of that, my spiritual to be good,
Hmm.
I have to actively, continuously pursue that. I want intentionally to have good health, that I want a great well being. So that is the difference in saying your health versus wellness. And again, self care, which comes under wellness, which could be grounding, which could be going out for a walk to get your vitamin D, which could be popping in your jacuzzi after work or middle of the day, or taking
Taking
a
a
nap in the
nap.
middle of the day. Any of those things,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. So whew, I'm glad we did kind of a deeper dive today and really broke down what is wellness. because we've been talking about wellness on these Wellness Wednesdays. But again, sometimes we could talk about things and not really have a good understanding of what it is, just like the word ignorant or ignorance. And it is the lack of knowledge, doesn't mean something that's necessarily negative, but it's just, I don't have that knowledge. I don't know. So hopefully this has helped enlighten or broaden your capacity when it comes to understanding what wellness really is, because all of us need to make sure we are actively pursuing and intentionally trying to have wellness and good health and good mental health and good spiritual health and social health, right? And good environmental, financial, career, all of that. We want to be well in every aspect of our lives.
That's right. Marcus says, wow, what a great show with excellent points to take away. Thank you. Well, you're welcome, Marcus. Thank you as usual for tuning in. And glad you got some value from it. I know Ravon had made a comment when I had talked about how I give advice. He said he does the same. He has the same habit. So we all, can obviously work on that. But yeah, I think this conversation today really encapsulates the overall way to approach being better, feeling better, even acting better, by defining wellness as, your path to being healthy. And, and I like the way that you distinguish those definitions. And I think that's really, really cool. I thank you for that, Tony. It's helpful for me as well. And
so let me just say this real quick, folks. Today we winged it. We won it so fast because we had, Wellness Wednesday, but I came on and put the title in and then told Jamal when he came on, he was like, what are we talking about today? I was like, I don't know. But in the interim, before he came on, I said, you know what? I really want to be able to define wellness, just like we define ignorance or any other thing. I'm a words person. I love looking up words and learning the true definition. And I will go down a rabbit hole to find out, what is this? What does this mean? Because it's just, and I don't do that. I think there's something called Wordly where you could get a word of the day and they kind of tell you. I just do it on my own. I will look in every dictionary. I have several different versions of Bibles and see how that relates, because I really want to know. I don't want to be ignorant.
You're learning the etymology of the words, like
I do,
where they come about. It's very important that you do that, though. It's good. I used to teach that when we used to learn like where words were derived, their Latin origin, and maybe even older language.
Yep.
Yeah, and they used to do phonetics and all that kind of stuff. Now they just kind of teach you. If we can get back to that, it would be, I think, a real good thing, because words are powerful in and of themselves. And this can be a whole other conversation, because
definitely
the words that we say both verbally and mentally to ourselves, that's kind of part of this conversation, is very powerful as well. A lot of times there's not as much positive conversation that we have internally. And hopefully if we, approach the wellness in the right way to get our overall health, one of the aspects of it will be, having better internal conversations, which will require us to use better words. And the way you can use a better word is to truly understand what words mean, where they come from, how they may have been applied in the past. And, that etymology aspect that you're talking about is very powerful. And I hope we can maybe even have a deeper convo about this, because I think we should be more careful with the words that we choose to say and think.
Yeah, and that's true, because if you don't know, if you have ignorance about a word and you say it and it comes out in the wrong context or whatever, then you might have created an offense that you never intentionally wanted to create or to give, right? We don't ever want to really offend anyone, but sometimes we say things, and if you're not intentional and purposeful about, how you say it, then it could create an offense, and then how do you deal with that? So thank you all for being with us today. We're not totally gone yet, because Jamal's going to do announcements, but thank you for listening to just us defining wellness and what it is. And if you found it, Marcus said, wow, thanks for a great show. We did great winging it, Jamal. Thank you.
Absolutely.
We
Hey,
got it
sometimes that's what
in.
happens.
Yeah, exactly. But, hey, we don't always have to have it pre-scripted or, oh, we're having this guest or we're going to talk about that. It literally just came up, and having an understanding about what the dimensions of wellness are, what the key aspects of wellness are, and then what wellness is versus health, being active or proactive in it, and intentional, I think is definitely something that all of us can benefit from as we continue on our journey daily in this thing called life.
That's right. What does Brian say? Like when folks say Denzel's. Huh?
I don't understand that, but it's okay. Anyway, Jamal, do you want to go too?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do the slides
All right.
or the announcements. Here we go. And I'm starting here because, again, I think I've mentioned this before. The Altadena community meeting is the weekly meeting that takes place on Mondays. It's at 4 o'clock. And here, let me actually remove these real quick just so you can see. Or no, you can see them. But they're only going through the end of the year. So every Monday, 4 p.m. on the County of Los Angeles's YouTube page, you can actually listen to the community meeting. That QR code actually takes you to a playlist of all of them with the most recent one at the top. But I just want to reiterate the fact that these are only continuing through this month and haven't got any word yet. So go ahead and check these out so you can see the progress that the county is making. Now I'll go to the stuff that's local. Now there's quite a few, because as we get into Saturday and Sunday, you know how we get towards the end of the week, a lot more stuff pops up. So Mondays and Wednesdays, Eaton Health Village actually has their free medical and mental health clinic. It's from 12 to 5 at 1280 East Washington Boulevard in Pasadena. You can walk in, or you can call in to schedule your appointment, or call to actually ask questions at area code 951-595-7032. And definitely check this out. Excuse me. Now we have My Tribe Rise, who has Adopt a Survivor matching fund drive. They were trying to raise $1 million for Altadena families. My Tribe Rise has raised $500,000 and is now seeking to raise an additional $500,000 in matching funds to reach their $1 million goal. The funding is going to provide bridge funding for rent or mortgage coverage for up to 500 families. If you're interested in participating, you could scan the QR code in the upper right-hand portion of the screen, of the flyer rather. And then Hollywood Food Coalition, it has their community food distribution going on right now. It started 3 minutes ago. It's going on till noon. It's at the main library parking lot at 600 East Mariposa Street in Altadena. Supplies are limited, so it's first come, first serve. And if you do attend, they ask that you bring your own extra bags. And then, as usual, every Wednesday up at the world famous Fair Oaks Burger is the We Out Here Market, which is a Juicy Little Finds thrift store. This is what she's been doing every Wednesday since, pretty much shortly after the fires happened. Again, it's 12 to 3 at Fair Oaks Burgers at 2560 North Fair Oaks Avenue in Altadena. It is for the Altadena residents who are survivors, so please bring your proof of your residency with your ID. Some of the things that'll be there are free farmers market, vegan hot meals, groceries, hygiene products, thrift store pop-up, legal advice, love and prayers, and much more. They do ask that you bring your own bag also. And if you'd like additional information for this market or anything else that Juicy Little does, please go to juicylittle.org. Also today, there's a free grocery pop-up market. It's happening from 12 until supplies last. It's happening at Lifeline Fellowship Christian Center. It's at 2556 North Lake Avenue in Altadena. There will be 200 free hot meals provided by El Patron Restaurant and sponsored by Support and Feed. Please bring your own bag. And this is actually another nice event if you want to get some supplies and groceries. And then today, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Altadena Steadfast is having a virtual community workshop to explore parks and open spaces and community gathering and placemaking ideas by as many Altadenians as possible. If you're interested in sharing your ideas and getting your opinions heard, please register at info@altadenastedfast@gmail.com, or you can go to their website, which is steadfastla.com/Altadena Steadfast Urban Design.
That's super, super, super important, everybody. This is the group and the people that are trying to plan for you what you want in Altadena. There are some Altadenians on it. There are others that are not, that are from La Cañada and different places. Altadena Steadfast is a subset of LA Steadfast, which is a Rick Caruso initiative. So if you want to make sure that you have a say in what happens in your community with your parks, then please get on this Zoom, register, send an email today so you can be on it tonight. Super important. I'm going to be on that tonight. This is only happening because I kind of lit them up about it at the town council and afterwards, because there was a meeting right before that at the collaboratory, and there were very few people of color, and I mean of all people of color. And so I said, how is it that only a select group of people are being invited to this, and who is Altadena Steadfast? So Hans then said, met with me after the town council meeting and said, Tony, this is who we are and this is what we do and blah, 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 blah. And I said, but you guys are planning our parks, but who, And so we had a couple meetings and a couple phone conversations. And as part of it, they said, okay, we recognize we are not getting everyone. I said, are you even getting the next generation? The people that are in their 30s, 20s, 40s, because eventually they will be the homeowners, generationally or whatever. And if you plan something now for these parks to reopen, specifically Farnsworth and stuff, what if it's not even what they want to see in the future? Right. Mm-hmm. And so they came back to me about a week ago and said, or a week and a half ago, and said, hey, this is what we're going to do because we heard you. So I'm thankful that I was the squeaky wheel, because this is about all you Altadenians, right? Like, if you want your voices heard, they are going to do it tonight from 6 to 8 on Zoom. They want as many people as possible to chime in so they could get the information out. And then they will decide if they're going to continue this with Zoom or in person or both, which I told them I think they should do both, but they've got to keep reaching out to the community. And then they said, well, can you share it on your podcast? So obviously, yes, please go either to that link that Jamal just said, or info.altadenastedfast@gmail.com, and send them a request that you want to be on that Zoom call tonight.
Yep. Very good point, Tony. I mean, it's very important. Get your voice heard.
Yep.
Absolutely. And then this next event just started a few minutes ago. It's an Altadena groundbreaking ceremony by Raban Development. And it's taking, my camera just went crazy. Okay. It's taking place at 3270 North Raymond Avenue in Altadena. They're asking that you celebrate new beginnings with this Altadena family breaking ground on their new home after the fire. There'll be yummy food and refreshments. So if you happen to be listening on the phone and you have time and you want to go check it out, please check it out. Support that family. And then Eden Fire. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I said, yeah, it's exciting.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be so many more of these in the near future.
Yeah.
Eden Fire Survivors Network is providing healing through the holidays. It's a virtual wellness gathering. It's happening today from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. It's in partnership with the Eden Fire Collaborative Wellness Committee. You can register by either scanning the QR code or going to the bit.ly link that's listed there. Now, I added this particular one because we kind of talked about it yesterday briefly. So today, the LA County Parks and Recreation is providing a Parks After Dark event, bringing Winter Wonderland to a park near you. So they're spreading holiday cheer and 40 tons of snow at the bunch of different parks. So tomorrow, from 4 to 8 p.m., they'll be at Loma Alta. There's going to be a sled hill, snow play area, Santa's visit, holiday crafts, filled holiday stockings for every child while supplies last, hot cocoa station, and food giveaway, as well as much more. So that is tomorrow at Loma Alta Park, 3330 North Lincoln Avenue, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Bundle up and be prepared to play in the snow.
Nice.
Yep. And next we have Jazzy Jams for Empowerment, along with the Water Cooler Room. They're having their Holiday Lit Corner with author Sandra Evers Manley. So come vibe with them for 2 special book readings and signing sessions of the book Raised by Mrs. Manley and Her L's. It's happening tomorrow. The first one will be at 11 a.m. The second will be at 6 p.m. It's located at the Paseo, Colorado, 300 East Colorado Boulevard, Suite 150 in Pasadena. It's designed for seniors, children, and families because this particular story is for everyone. If you want to attend, please RSVP at info@jazzyjamfoремpowerment.org. And then there's a Rebuild 101 workshop happening. The topic is pre-construction management. Plan it right before you build. It's taking place tomorrow, December 11th, from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at 409 East Woodbury Road in Altadena. The workshop focuses on helping fire-impacted homeowners build a realistic pre-construction game plan before they spend insurance money on the wrong plans or the wrong builder. If you want additional information, you can go to altadesignworks.com. I heard I corrected that, right, Tony? There is a festive breakfast for older adults, as Brian mentioned yesterday. Not sure what that is defined as. We'll assume that we'll say senior citizens. It'll take place this Friday. It'll be from 9:30 a.m. at the Eden Fire Collaboratory at 540 West Woodbury Road in Altadena. Celebrate together, uplift the spirit of hopefulness in the season. All come together to reflect and support each other as we approach the holidays and the first anniversary of the Eden Fire. I believe there's limited spacing, so please register early if you're interested by scanning the QR code. And then Day One is having their 17th annual Cherishing Children, creating a special holiday event for everyone. It's taking place this Friday, December 12th from 5 to 9 p.m. Location is 175 North Euclid Avenue in Pasadena. They do ask that you register by scanning the QR code, or you can go to bit.ly/cherishing-children. And the Altadena Town Council is having their holiday celebration at the Rose Bowl next week, December 16th from 5 to 9. However, if you're interested in participating, you do need to register an RSVP by this Friday, the 12th, by scanning the QR code. And if you actually go, there'll be a Rose Bowl Stadium tour from 5 to 7. Then the Town Council meeting will begin at 7 p.m. and they will have holiday bites and beverages there for everyone to enjoy. There is a community holiday decoration workshop. Join their teaching artists to make ornaments and festive decor for yourself or to donate to a community impacted by the Eden Fire. It's taking place Friday, the December 12th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Armory Center for the Arts, which is located at 145 North Raymond Avenue in Pasadena. There is a QR code to register or RSVP. It's encouraged, but is not required. So if you're interested, please attend. And then we have the 23rd annual La Pintoresca tree lighting ceremony taking place Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. at La Pintoresca Park, which is at 45 East Washington Boulevard. Things that'll happen there will be the John Muir Ensemble Choir, chocolate story time, arts and crafts, face painting, tamales and champurrados, plus a visit from Santa. So this is actually going to be a fun event. See, as we tell you, the later we get in the week, the more and more things that are happening for the weekend. So the next one will be the recovery and rebuilding and recovery workshop taking place this Saturday from 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Eden Fire Collaboratory at 540 West Woodbury Road in Altadena. The topics will be interim housing and small business support, low-cost construction management, technical support to select a general contractor or architect, mission-driven real estate services, and estate planning legal services at no charge. They do need you to register, so you can scan the QR code. If you'd like to have if you need additional information or have questions, you can call 213-381-2862 or go to the website NHS for Neighborhood Housing Services, lacounty.org. A few more, and then we'll make it through. CHP toy giveaway and author visit by Nell Cross is taking place also Saturday. It's at the main library at 600 East Mariposa Street in Altadena. The CHP toy giveaway will be from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. in the library parking lot. And then the author talk will be from 10:30 to 11:30 in the community room. So come early to the CHP toy giveaway, then join as the children's author Nell Cross Beckerman reads her new book, Forests. And an arborist from Altadena Green leads a family-friendly talk about special trees around the library. It's for families, and it will be for while supplies last. So definitely go check out that event, or both of those events. And something else related to Loma Alta Park and still related to the snow is Holiday in the Park. There'll be arts and crafts and shows and treats this Saturday, the 13th, from 1 to 5 p.m. Again, if you don't know the address of Loma Alta Park, it's 3330 North Lincoln Avenue in Altadena. So they're saying bundle up. They're going to bring snow to the park and enjoy entertainment and performances, hands-on craft experiences, create an edible treat, be family and friend poster or photos, and delicious snacks. There's going to be a lot of cool wintry activities this weekend, which is going to be fun. Hopefully they continue through the end of the month.
I might have to go tomorrow to get some snow. Because I am not going up to Big Bear anywhere because I do not like cold. But I might
know that's right. I know that's right. So Altadena Libraries is providing the second Saturday concert series. This next installment will be featuring Rhythms of the Village this Saturday, the 13th, also at the main library main floor at 600 East Mariposa Street. It's from 6:30 to 8:30 on Saturday. Scan the QR code so that you can register. And due to its popularity, they recommend that you arrive early and register early as well. And there will be food and drinks available for purchase. And then we have the Christmas Experience. There are concerts, and then there are Christmas experience. There's the Christmas Experience, 20-plus year tradition of hope, harmony, and holiday joy, taking place Saturday at 6 p.m. at Paz Nas at 3700 East Sierra Madre Boulevard in Pasadena. You want to speak to this? I know we sold out of the 25 tickets that we sponsored, but can people still get them?
I believe they can still go to
the original link.
Yeah, to the get tickets today. They can also just pull up vbcpasadena.org, and if they go there, they can go to events, and the Christmas Experience is there. Okay. I think it says sign up, and it should take them, to Eventbrite, which says then get tickets. And there are still some available, I guess. I know that they're selling out. Thank you to everyone who participated yesterday. I put it on our what is it, Altadena Talks Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
and Beautiful Legacy Altadena, and we got it. So I was able to close that off. There were 26 total. We had 25 tickets. So I told G, hey, I'm gonna need an extra ticket. She said, no problem, I got you. Everyone should be receiving an email directly from either Victory Bible Church or somebody there that says these are your tickets. It might be from Eventbrite or whatever for Saturday. So hope to see everyone at PASNAS who, signed up for those tickets. We were a silver sponsor, so we sponsored for 25 tickets, and hope to see everyone there, and hope that you really enjoy the Christmas experience, the music and everything.
Awesome.
Yep.
It should be amazing. I wish I was able to attend.
I know. Yeah, you've got.
Yeah, it's Friday or Saturday and Sunday. It's crazy. Yeah. So Sasha Renee Perez is inviting everyone to Winter Wonderland. It's on the 14th. It is next week, 9:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. There's going to be music. Santa Claus is going to be there, plus a lot of activities. It's at the Pasadena City Hall Rotunda, 100 Garfield Avenue in Pasadena. If you're interested, please bring a new unwrapped toy for the donation, but there is no requirement for that. A couple more slides, guys. Thanks for your patience. A lot of good info out there. Want to make sure everybody's heard, that we can get out there. So the Altadena Chamber is now accepting applications for their Altadena Business Recovery Grant Program, round 3. The deadline is December 15th. So definitely, if you're interested, scan the QR code. It's for Altadena businesses and nonprofits only, though. Grants are available in denominations from $500 to $1,500. For more information, scan the QR code or go to their website, altadenachamber.org. The Altadena Chamber is also having a Chamber Holiday Business Mixer, December 17th from 5 to 7 p.m. It is on Wednesday of next week. It's at the Altadena Town and Country Club at 2290 Country Club Drive in Altadena. The reason we're sharing this today is that it is limited space, and they are asking that you RSVP by Monday by scanning the QR code. If you are going to attend, make sure you get ready to jingle and mingle poolside. Drinks and nibbles will be served, and they do ask that you dress warmly.
Jingle and mingle. Okay.
With the nibbles.
And the nibbles.
Drinks and nibbles. This is one that Tony had shared. Tony's mom had shared. Thank you, Mrs. Bailey. It's the Senior Winter Formal at Loma Alta Park, taking place next Thursday, December 18th. It'll be at, again, Loma Alta, 3330 North Lincoln Avenue at the gym. The doors are going to open at 1 p.m. It is free. So any of the seniors, we're talking senior citizens, not seniors in high school, that actually want to attend. Hey, we had a question when we were doing the prom giveaways at one point.
They said 50 and over. That's what my mom said. They told her.
Yeah, it doesn't show anything on the fly. But shoot, we can attend.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be food, drinks, live music, activities and entertainment, mixology activities, and a photo booth experience. If you want additional info, you can call 626-206-9313, and that is the number to Loma Alta Park.
At 1 p.m. on the 18th. That's going to be pretty dope.
Correctamundo. Yep.
I might have to go to that, too. I'm definitely a senior now.
Oh, exactly. Altadena Cookie Company is actually having a Christmas party. They're providing tickets at their website, altadenacookie.co.com. I'm providing this link because I'm sure it's limited space and you have to pick a certain time slot. It's taking place next Saturday, a week from this Saturday on the 20th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. There's going to be, you can visit with Santa, decorate a cookie. There'll be hot chocolate from Unincorporated. It's taking place at 3027 Lincoln Avenue, only in Altadena. So again, if you're interested, go to their website and you can block out a specific time that you want to attend. I believe there is one more slide and we will wrap it up. So this one, it's a holiday cheering and candied rebuild chats. It's a community gathering for resilience, remembrance, and connection. Join them for a joyful seasonal event that blends festive cheer with meaningful conversations about rebuilding and renewal. Set in the heart of La Cañada, Flint Ridge, this gathering invites neighbors, friends, and community members to reconnect under twinkling lights and share in the spirit of recovery. It's taking place also December 20th. It'll be from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Did we get the RSVP info for that? Let's see. Okay, there we go. So it's going to be at the it'll be in La Cañada, Flint Ridge, but you're not going to get the actual address until after you RSVP. In order to RSVP, you want to go ahead and send an email to, is it Sustain Eco? So SUSTAINECO at yahoo.com. Once you register, then you'll get a reply email and it'll provide you with the address for this particular event. So with that, I bring it back to Tony and myself, and shoot, we're at an hour and 20 minutes. Wow. We put it in today. Put in some time.
We did. We went on and on today. I know this weekend, I'm going to go to the, Christmas experience, but there's a trail ride. You know what a trail ride is?
I'm thinking where you ride a horse along a trail, or you can ride ATVs or something.
It's definitely horseback riding. It is in the South. Like, in the South, Black folks all have horses, all have and they do trail rides. They do them in it'll be 100 people out on a trail ride, and they do their horses and they have dance and all this kind of stuff. So, there are cowboys out here in California, some that have always been here, some that migrated from the South, and they have horses. And there's a lot of
uncles is kind of like that. Yep.
Yeah. So the Compton Cowboys this weekend are having a trail ride. I believe it's the one that's going to be in Altadena at Hahamunga Park. And so
I found the flyer. I'm going to show it.
Oh, okay, cool. So that is happening this Saturday, but also we have a friend named Prince Damon, and he is a music producer and all this stuff, but he is my niece's kid's goddad, and he lives out in Sun Village. So I think Sun Valley. So Hannah's out there today riding, and I'm going out for a shoot on Saturday because he has all these hay bales set up and stuff, and I got a cute it's like a Santa outfit, but
like it's a gun range shoot.
No, a photo shoot.
Oh, photo shoot. Okay.
And he has horses, and sometimes, he's like, come out and ride. But anyway, go back to that because that trail ride.
Only reason why I took it down is that it said you got to RSVP by November 30th.
Oh, okay. Well, I can almost guarantee you if you show up tomorrow morning, you might not be able to do the whole ride, but you can probably do the meet and greet. You can probably hang out, maybe take some pictures.
Okay.
With the cowboys and cowgirls who will be there on their horses getting ready to do this trail ride. So I was going to go, but I have to be in Sun Valley at 11 for my photo shoot and everything. And I was like, I'll just do it later. Plus I can just go ride all the time with Prince. He is actually from Corinth, Mississippi. He's a real cowboy, but he lives out here now because he's a music producer. And so, yeah, Hannah's going out to his house riding probably Apollo or Creed or something today. And then I'm going to go out there Saturday and do the photo shoot. So I'll be posting some Merry Christmas on a horse and sitting on bales of hay, cute little pictures this weekend.
That is going to be really cool. I can't wait to see those pictures.
Yeah, it'll be pretty dope. But anyway, as we start to learn more about these Compton Cowboys having their trail rides, or even this one, Miss Rochelle and all of them, I do want to post that here because I think they're wonderful and they're a part of bringing community back.
Yeah.
And so it's really good. So it will be at 8 a.m. over at Hahamunga if somebody wants to drive over and be like, hey, I didn't sign up, but I want to take some pictures or whatever. I'm sure they won't be like, no, you got to go. But
I think I shared this on the group, but I remember seeing this and seeing the RSVP deadline. And that's the reason why I didn't bring it up or put it on the show before. But because I saw it after the deadline. But no, Go check it out. At very least, you get to see some horses, and
Yep.
that would be fun.
Yeah, because the only other time really for us is like the Bill Pickett Rodeo every June or
Yeah.
July or whatever. And I've tried to go to that. I went not this year, last year, because this year I was overseas on vacation. But it was the same day I left or the next day. But it is amazing to see our culture in droves on their horses that come in
Yes.
from all over the country, and the close knit cowboy community, right? And how they know each other and they help each other. And I think we just all have to kind of get back to that in our society. There's so
Yeah.
much hatred and evil and canceling you out because you're different. But if you learn about people, when I went to pick up toys Sunday from Congresswoman Judy Chu, these Sikhs came in who had donated a bunch of toys, and there were 3 seats at our table. And so they said, "Can we sit?" I said, "Yeah." So Dr. Singh, he was a Sikh, and I said, "Okay, so I want you to explain all this stuff to me. I don't understand the Sikh culture, right, or faith or whatever."
Mhm.
And he told me everything from this silver bangle, these bracelets they wear. And then there were several of them, one darker than me and one super fair skin. So it reminded me of our culture, how we have, all shades, all colors of hair and all this,
Shoes.
and how their hair is super long and they have the beards. He told me all the principles, right, of why they have that. He said they wear these underwear that are down below their knee, and all of it has to do with their faith, their religion, and it's a man-made religion. He told me that, and Guru Nanda, who started it, but what it all means, and that these turbans they put their hair up, and then they stick a comb in it, and they put their turbans on. Because I asked him, tell me about that, and there was a young man, him, his dad, and his brother that were down from Bakersfield, and now we're like Facebook friends. And Dr. Singh was like, "Call me anytime. I'm a cardiologist," and gave me this pen with this number, and they
Mhm.
were like family. But the guy that sat next to him, was an older gentleman, real dark skin. But he told me the difference between them as Sikhs, that they're the Punjab region, and that Pakistan loves them and they could go in Pakistan anytime, but India is a different thing, and all why. And then the guy sat down and he had a cookie and he just took half his cookie. And then he gave me a piece, and I was like, "No, thank you," because I had already had some. He said, "No, no, no, you can't refuse. You have to take it." And I said, "Why?" But that's part of their culture. You share everything. He said, "You should come one day to a temple." He said, "Our temples are open every day. And if you go to a Sikh temple, doesn't matter your culture, your faith, your color, you can come in, no questions asked, and you can sit and have a meal. They cook lots of food every day. And at
Mhm.
any time," and he said, "we share everything." And even this morning when I was in the shower, I was like, God, it's so amazing to listen to someone from a different culture and a man-made religion, but a different faith, that says we share everything. And if we as the United States had that mentality that we share everything, we'd be a totally different
Oh,
society.
yeah, that'd be the case. But you
Yeah.
let the current people hear that, then you're unpatriotic and
Yeah,
all
but
these other so ridiculous.
that's
But
what it
no,
should
I
be.
wholeheartedly agree with you.
Yeah.
And the Sikh folks are amazing. When I lived in Dewarty, one of guy became a good friend of mine. Lived across the street and down a few homes. He was
Yeah.
Sikh, Victor Singh. I mean, it's a common last name, but
Well, he told me all about them all having the last name Singh
yeah,
too, because he said
yeah.
that's a Singh, that's Raj Jupal, but Singh and da. And
Hmm.
how you get kind of almost like Catholics being excommunicated
Hmm.
if you're a Singh, and like how they don't go outside without their turbans on, and why,
Hmm.
and like we sat there for an hour and a half talking, and I was just like, wow, this is amazing. And he was so willing to share it because I asked, and
That's
he
cool.
said, "Thank you for sharing. A lot of people don't ask. I mean, thank you for asking." And I was like, "Yeah, how do I get to know anything about you and what you believe unless I ask?" And I'm open,
How pragmatic that is. How I mean, it
right?
just makes sense. And so many people do not think that way. They just make up whatever's in their mind,
No, I
whatever
want to know.
assumption, and run with it. I mean, but
That's
that's why there's so many problems in the world nowadays because people don't ask
exactly.
questions wholeheartedly wanting to understand. They just
Yeah,
are like, "Hey, you're different than me. Then you must be an enemy." And then it's like,
right. And
man,
that's not the
that's
case at
bad.
all.
Nah, not at all. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm glad you had that conversation. It kind of goes in line again with with the conversation we had today too. Just being open
Well,
minded, hearing what people are talking about, not being
mhm.
ignorant because you're gaining the knowledge.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, Tony, I think you did a great, or we did a great
We had
show
a good
today,
show today.
and appreciate the input that folks had. We obviously would love for you to um, communicate a lot more, give us input on whatever you want to talk about or comment about it. Thank you, Marcus, as usual, for the comments, and Ravon, and whoever else that
Brian
I
and
may have
Mrs.
forgotten, and Brian, and was his
Bacchus.
mom.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to the folks who joined on Instagram. The Classic Ash, one Lance Anderson, um, Action Altadena, R for Wigan, 007, Stencil Photo, Mr. Mole, KN Netage. Sorry if I beat that up. Sherry Moore 35. Who else we have? Kyrie join. SR Cigar join. Kisa the veganizer joined. Zumba Genevieve joined. Hey Genevieve. BD Mobile Cigar Lounge joined. Thank you all for joining. Hopefully you tune in again. And you got some value from this. What is this last comment here? Oh, Brian is still watching. All right, well, good. Well, we're about to wrap it up, B. Hopefully you're having a good, effective and productive day today, and look forward to having you on tomorrow. Oh, anything happening tomorrow? Oh, no, we said not this week, right? Nothing for guests.
Next Tuesday is that demo. Tomorrow I don't have a guest as of yet. Doesn't mean I won't, but we'll figure it out. I got to make some calls and just check with people if they're ready to come on or not. And if so, we'll have somebody.
So tune in tomorrow for possibly a guest, but we'll probably have another good conversation about something important that's relevant to our community. So we hope you have a great. Oh, you know what? I digress. Hold on. I am so sorry for this.
No worries. Hold on. I remembered at the last minute. It's all good.
Yeah, I had to. Oh, where is this? I had to we had to do it because today is hump day. So Marcus, I didn't forget about you. I had to throw it up there. Had to have the twerking camel. It's our tradition. So for everybody, this is a way that we're going to wrap up the episode with a little laughter. Again, tune in tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your hump day. That's right, hump day. Peace, everybody. See you tomorrow.
See you later.